All right, and welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. Today we're talking about the Rams versus the Panthers from Week 1. This is a sloppy game in the first half. Carolina came out amped. I mean, they came out amped up, just like Oakland did on Monday night, which we'll talk about in another episode. Carolina's defense just came out and gave the Rams everything they could handle. The Rams were a little, I would say, rusty because they didn't play their starters throughout training camp and preseason. You know, this is going to be a prevailing theme, like I've mentioned in other episodes. The first couple of weeks of the season, it's just going to be rusty. It's the new NFL. They don't play their starters during the regular season. It is what it is. But let's talk about the Panthers first. Christian McCaffrey, what can you say about the guy? 3 touchdowns. He's just incredible. He's not going to be available on your waivers. So if you're a Christian McCaffrey owner, you can just sit back and smile and relax. Be thankful that you have him. If you don't have Christian McCaffrey, let's just move it on because you're not going to get him. He's untradeable, I think. You just can't replace a guy like that. He's incredible. Cam Newton, I'm not too worried about him. The thing with Cam Newton is he's always up and down. I was wondering if he would come in and, because there's been some criticism in the offseason, play a little bit stronger because he had a chip on his shoulder. But remember, he had that injury in training camp. He was a little bit rusty. He had plenty of opportunities to hit like DJ Moore and other receivers. Missed them. Carolina, this game was out for Carolina to win. They just didn't make it happen. But that is what you get with Cam Newton. The interesting thing, though, is he didn't run. He had only a couple of carries, and that's a lot of Cam Newton's value, is his ability to run and get you kind of what I call those bonus yards as a quarterback. You get more yards for running than you do for pass, or I should say more points for running than you do for passing. And Cam Newton, he just didn't really run. So he wasn't a factor in that part of the game, and that, I think, probably added to his down game against the Rams. And then also the Rams defense, they're okay, right? They're pretty good. They're usually drafted pretty early in fantasy circles, so it is what it is. DJ Moore, I liked what I saw from him. He will find the end zone later in the season, so if you have DJ Moore, I think he's a very good guy to have. He got a lot of targets, a lot of receptions. Could have had a bigger game. He had a lot of openings there that Cam Newton unfortunately missed him on. It is what it is there. Greg Olsen got a few targets. I think he's going to be a viable tight end. There are some other guys I like that might be waiver candidates, like Austin Hooper in Atlanta. Who's the other guy? Not Njoku. Oh, Delaney Walker in Tennessee, I think would be a good waiver candidate possibly for you. So there are guys out there for you. But Carolina, you're not going to get Christian McCaffrey. If DJ Moore is on waivers, he's somebody you're going to want to snap up. I doubt he will be in most leagues, but he could be. Greg Olsen, I think you could have better out there. But if you're desperate from a tight end and you're in a really deep league and there's not a lot out there, he's somebody you can put a waiver claim in on. The Rams offense, look, we'll get to Gurley in just a second, okay? Jared Goff was rusty. He had opportunities and he missed them. Brandon Cooks, he had a really poor game, but he'll be fine later in the offseason, or later in the season, I should say. Robert Woods, he'll be fine. Cooper Kupp had a typically Cooper Kupp type game, a lot of targets, a touchdown. Or at least a touchdown look. I think Higbee actually got the touchdown. The tight ends, I'm not into it. The Carolina did a really good job kind of shutting those receivers down and making the Rams work the middle of the field, the intermediate area of the field. The Rams adjusted. They got Higbee a touchdown. I don't think that'll be a common thing. But let's talk about Gurley because that's the elephant in the room. I have Gurley on my team, so I feel everybody's pain out there that has Gurley. Look, if you didn't watch the game, I watch every single game of the season. I watch every bit of every game of the season because I need to know, having written the Fantasy Football Almanac and Draft Guide, I have a lot of readers asking me questions throughout the year. So the big question is, what's going on with Gurley? Look, in the first 3 quarters, he was splitting carries and splitting series. This is the important part. He was splitting series with Malcolm Brown. And it just so happened that in Gurley's series, he wasn't on the field on red zone attempts. He just wasn't there. Malcolm Brown was on his series. So Malcolm Brown, I think, had 11 carries, 53 yards, something like that, and 2 touchdowns, which is very annoying for me. It cost me a game this week. But it is what it is. You're going to get that. And, Malcolm Brown, he's not going to really snake into goal line carries too much, I don't think. But when he has a series and when the Rams are rusting Gurley and kind of easing him into action, you're going to see this. But the Rams rode Todd Gurley when it mattered. So what I see is if the Rams are in games that are blowouts, they're probably going to continue to rotate carries. If they're behind in games and they really need to get things going, I think they'll probably use Gurley more. And I think they'll use Gurley when it's important, like in the fourth quarter when he got the bulk of his carries. Don't panic yet, Gurley owners. I'm not panicking. You shouldn't either. But it's something to, if you're in a deeper league, unfortunately, we have a thin bench in our league, so I can't really just put Malcolm Brown on there, and he's probably going to be snapped up on waivers this week anyway. But if you're in a deeper league, you have Gurley, Malcolm Brown is definitely worth a pickup. But be patient on Gurley. Don't try to trade him yet. People are probably, owners like me are probably going to smell blood for other Gurley owners and maybe try to put a trade out there and get him for pennies on the dollar. Don't do anything like that yet. Be patient. Gurley will show by the end of the year. He'll be more involved in the passing game. It'll be okay. But, definitely if you're in a deeper league, like I said, put that waiver claim in for Malcolm Brown. So there you go. There's the fantasy football fallout. Please subscribe to this video. Please like this video and please comment where you can. And we'll be as interactive as possible. And stay tuned for more episodes.